But whenever we hear this guy do his thing in press conferences, he's nothing like anybody else. He's very relaxed. When he came in and did our show at our old studio, just sat down and was like, what's up? Yale brain, obviously a mastermind whenever it comes to offensive football, but has committed his entire being to this Dolphins team. Wakes up at 2:30 in the morning or something like that to do his whole life. This guy's special, Con Man, and he's in the AFC East for the next 20 years probably.
Yeah, absolutely brutal for anybody who isn't a Dolphins fan in the AFC East, but it's cool that there is this new era. Like, I feel like the LaFleurs and, the Kevin O'Connells and those guys, like, they're kind of different from what McDaniel is. And, I mean, Gumpy just said it. He is one of one. And then when you see the other teams try and copy him, you'll definitely see it this weekend. When they do the sprint out motion, every other team.
Right before the snap.
Every other team is peeking back, turning around to make sure that they're not going off sides or they're not going fast. But the Dolphins, like they are so there's a well-oiled machine that when Tyreek Hill sprints out there, he doesn't turn around. He knows when the ball is snapped, and it's impressive because AQ always talks about the reason the San Francisco O-line and that run game is so good is that they just practice the motions over and over and over again, and it doesn't come easy. And you can tell that with the Dolphins team. Like, they're practicing that motion, and it looks easy and simple, and it's like, why hasn't anyone else done that? It's probably because it's so damn difficult. And it's credit to Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all those guys too, but like McDaniel, bringing that to the NFL has completely changed.
Yeah, and I think you'll hear a lot of coaches said this about Bill Belichick with Tom Brady and LaFleur with Aaron Rodgers, where they go, it's real easy to win with all those people.
Exactly.
And now, we heard it at the Niners. They were like, well, if you put Mac Jones in where Brock Purdy is,
someone said that
he could play like that.
That's right.
Okay, now we don't know what like that means, if he's saying exactly or not. Just kind of completely diminishing the mental side of being a quarterback, which is like 85% of it, especially at the NFL, going to have to be able to make every throw. But now some of the same conversations happening about Tua. And not only do you hear Coach McDaniel, like his empathy, and he's a deep thinker, and he's one of one. He has those 6 shades. He wears joggers tightened up. He's got the off-white shoes with clips still. I mean, this dude is different than anything we've seen as a head coach. Listen to the passion whenever people say bad things about his players. In this particular case, it's Tua. Anybody can do what Tua's doing, right?
There are some folks who believe that many quarterbacks in this scheme, with you as the coach, with Tyreek and Jalen, maybe even many quarterbacks would excel, would flourish, would be near the top of the passer rater leading MVP candidate. What, if any, pushback is there relative to? Wait, no, hold on. Tua is a little different.
I'm about to push this podium over. My answer to that would be, who the F cares? Because it is a team. We're working together, and I know one thing. I've coached stuff a long time. I haven't seen people do what our guys do.
Yeah, I mean, he gives an answer that goes on to basically just say, yeah, we're a special group. But the whole thought of people saying that anybody could do what you're doing right now kind of diminishes a lot of the greatness that is taking place and all of the work that is taking place behind the scenes. Whenever we talked to Coach McDaniel, he came in and he said, it's actually one of our commercials we run, where he said, well, first, I want to see what Tua does well. The reason why the team is built the way it is because McDaniel watched 7,000 clips of Tua Tagovailoa playing quarterback, not only with the Dolphins in Alabama and high school in Hawaii and probably whenever he was in his youth league, but he said, what does this guy do well? Well, his timing's great and his accuracy is perfect because he was the run game coordinator for the 49ers. Now his offense is known as being the most timingly beautiful offense where everything's in there in speed all over the place. He was a massive piece of why they built the team this way. Tua is a massive reason why the team is being built this way, but it's not just as easy as, we get speed and we have good play calls and it happens. Why do you think the Dolphins have been so successful, and why do you think McDaniel's been successful, Chuck?
He's putting those guys in position to be successful. There's a lot of guys that have fell into rosters like this and had plenty of talent, had a quarterback, but they're set in their old ways and they figure, hey, I'm just going to run what I like to run instead of figuring out, like, what was the play clip he put together on Tua?
It was I think it was 1,000, 700 plays or something.
Whatever, right? And watch every play, and I guarantee you he did that for everybody on that offense. And so there's a lot of guys that don't have the ability to go ahead and say, okay, what do these guys do best? And then to be as detailed and execute the way that they do. You guys are talking about that motion. It's like the tush push. Everybody now's trying it, right?
It's
Turn on
easy.
Tuesday night football, Wednesday night football, Thursday night football, high school. It doesn't matter,
Right.
And how many people are being successful with it? It's only Philly right now, right? But he's unbelievable. He plays to those guys' strength. He obviously can relate to them.
You told me, I think, whenever we were interviewing McDaniel on the show, I think Chuck texted me and was like, I'd go coach for this guy. Why was it literally from the beginning that you thought, yeah, this is a guy you would want to coach along?
He's real. And he's obviously bright. He's very smart, but he delegates. And he sees the best in people, and he brings the best out of those people, but he lets those guys coach. And he doesn't have an ego. So for him to say, hey, look, I've got the offense. I've got the quarterback. We're going to get him right. All right, get him in the jiu-jitsu. He's going to be healthy.
Hey,
It's
right? Working.
Yeah.
And we got all these pieces, right? And then go hire Vic and let Vic run the defense. And
Gumpy, still a
and
lot of room to grow on that defensive side of the ball in the fans' eyes. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, definitely. I think Ramsey back will help. Jalen Phillips still not on a full. He's still on a play count this week as well. But the Cam Smith they drafted in the second round this year has not played a snap this season. He was supposed to be a very good cornerback as well.
Is that the South Carolina kid?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It takes time, and sometimes those guys get in there and they're ready to go, and sometimes they're not. So getting Jalen back will be huge. And this guy, you don't see him ever get flustered.
Ever.
No.
Like I watched a game on Sunday, I think, and
You're old. We know.
something happened. Like
Yeah,
right
you
before,
probably forgot what yesterday.
Yeah.
right before the
not
half,
cool.
and clock ran out, and then guy go ballistic. Right?
Oh, that was prime time. You're talking about
Dable.
Dable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you're talking about
Giants
Right.
Bills.
yeah.
This, go after coach, go after the play. Come on, what are you doing? Like you won't ever see Mike do that.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous.
He has an old soul.
Like
too, it feels
everybody,
like.
we're all pissed off. If you're a Giants fan, you're pissed. If you're one of the coaches, you're pissed. If you're the OC, you're pissed. If you're Tyrod Taylor, you're pissed. Everybody knows that, right? So why pile on?
Well, I think the thing about Daboll, it's interesting, and this is just like Doug Peterson tonight. Like, I just assumed Daboll would be running the offense, calling the offense. He is not.
hey.
Doug Peterson down in Jacksonville, he is not calling the offense. It's like, that's a fascinating thing.
So the funny thing is, right? So who's got the final say?
Oh, so you're saying he's still potentially in? Like,
No, but hey, this is touchdown or incompletion.
Oh, to Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So don't give them any option on this. This is a pass and a pass only. There are no runs.
No, 100%. I agree completely. But it's like in that moment, Daboll's thinking to himself, I assume, like, if I was doing this would not have happened. So that's why he goes right up to the offensive coordinator, and then he goes up to Tyrod Taylor, because right before that, you can drop in the ear, because you have, 10 seconds pretty much to talk before you give the play. Hey, this one's going out of bounds or in the end zone. That's it. That's only, you can drop that reminder to Tyrod Taylor, who's 34 years old, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
So he should know that as well, but also heat of the moment, first start in a while, he's in there. You can give a little reminder. Daboll thinks to himself, I assume, like, oh, well, if I was this would never happen, so that's why he goes. So I appreciate that he's a little emotional. Whenever you go to Doug Peterson, though, I wonder if he's thinking the same things whenever Press Taylor's got Trevor Lawrence's knee getting banged up in a game that's already pretty much locked and sealed away. And now here we are in a short week, Thursday night, wondering if Trevor Lawrence is going to be able to make it back early in the season. If you have any injury, if you're a quarterback or wide receiver or any of these positions that are skill positions and everything, week 7, you have a good record right now.
Yep.
There's a lot of games left. It's a Thursday. If he had anything actually wrong with him, I don't think it would be a real question. I think the question would be like, yeah, we're going to take this one and then you're going to get back the next week. Now that they're talking about getting him back, working him out, they're still thinking about it. For me, I don't think the injury was that big of a deal. I think it was maybe a bruise or maybe something like this. It wasn't as serious. And I think Trevor plays it. For some reason, on this short of a week, with the quarterback being the star that he is, and the team revolving around him, and you hear the stories about his rookie year, how it was whenever Urban was there and what Doug Peterson had to do to basically lift him back up because of everything that happened in his first year. It's like, would you roll the dice if there was a little bit of on a short week this early in the season with Trevor Lawrence? Or do you think that this is one of those things where Trevor Lawrence might be fighting it, saying, no, I want to play. What do you think, Chuck? Why do you think we're even?
There's so much mystery behind this because nobody practices on the short week. You go and do walkthroughs. So you don't even know, okay, he was limited, he's this. Everybody's limited. You know this being playing on a short week with the practices. They're not. They're hats, they're shorts, they're walkthroughs. So there's no
Yeah,
physical.
even me and Vinny were pissed at
there's
you if we had to kick. Like,
Yeah,
what are
there's
we-
no physical part
What are
to
you doing?
this. You
You're
know,
making
so
us, what are you doing? Asshole? We can play on Thursday, bro. Just see you Thursday.
Bang over the
We need a
walls?
couple. Don't we need a couple? You think? That's a funny way to look.
so if they play them, I mean, you're,
means it was
you're
nothing.
risking. You're risking. You know, you're either going to hand the ball off to ETN, down after down after down after down. Try to stay ahead of the chains. Get it out of his hands. Throw quick screens to Ridley and Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. Boom, boom, boom. Otherwise, you say, no, we're not doing this.